What's going on, guys? Darth back with another Queen's Blade Limit Break video. In this one, I'm kind of excited to bring this one to you. I am finally getting it done. I have been trying to get this video out for weeks. I'm talking about the transition from 11-star warriors to 12-star. Primarily your main boot camp team of going from 11-star to 12-star warriors. If you don't know, the base game has a technical limit of 11-star rank, maximum level ceiling of 280, and I consider that the base free-to-play game because in order to go to 12-star, you have to breach a paywall. There is a way to get the premium currency needed to upgrade from 11 to 12, but it's very difficult for newer players and even advanced players, and that's this event that actually reappeared, and that's the Voyage, but we're not going to talk about that. We are going to go in depth into what exactly the transition from 11 to 12 star is, what it does for you, and more importantly, the question we all want to know is it worth it? And the reason that question is so important is, again, in order to go from 11 to 12, you need to obtain a premium currency. We're going to talk about all of that. Now, I'm going to do this video a little bit differently. I'm going to get right into it. I'm going to answer the questions directly up front at the video. I'm not going to do the setup. I'm not going to talk about what's involved. I'm going to get right into the meat of the subject so that you can leave after that if you want. And at the end of the video, I'll go a little more, to spend a few minutes, go a little more in depth into the process, the upgrade costs, and what all was involved in doing that, because I did this all at one time. I upgraded all 5 warriors at one time. That's not an easy thing to do, and anybody who's upgraded 1 to 2 characters from 11 to 12, you know what I'm talking about, and you're going to get to see that here today. So without further ado, let's get into it. First thing I need to do is just show you a few things because it's going to be important for continuity going through and getting down and showing you, but also answering the question of whether or not it's worth it. Here's a 9-star warrior and here's a 10-star warrior. Let's just take a look at it real quick for setup, okay? I'm going to look at the rank up screen here. Max level, attack, and HP growth. We're not going to look at the max level because that's dictated by your boot camp. But I want you to pay attention to this attack and HP growth, 40 to 50%. Basically what this is saying, and if you know anything about the starring system, which is also known as the rank up system, is that every time you do, you get a small bump in attack and HP growth to your attributes. These 4 here are considered your main attributes. But when you rank up, you get a small increase. So starting at, like, I can't remember if it's 6 or 7, it goes up by incrementals, you notice 10%. That may seem like a lot, but it's not. Over the course of growth, it is. So basically going up 1 star, you get a 10% increase in attack and HP. That's not your overall attack and HP. That's on a warrior's primary base attack and HP. Real quick, just to show you what that looks like, if you go to your index and you click on a warrior, oops, let's use Liliana. Where's she at here? And you increase this up to 11 star. This is the base attribute attack at 280 and the base maximum HP. So here's your base primary attributes of the warrior. And as far as we know right now, with 1 or 2 exceptions, it's all based on this primary attribute. Now, little is known about going into the 12-star, but that's not important right now. I just want to explain the basics so that people understand what I'm talking about when I'm talking about it, because it's gonna hit you in a second. So ranking up a 9-star to 10 gives you a 10% bump. Ranking up a 10-star, which is what this is, it gets a bit confusing because you would think it'd go from 50 to 60, but it doesn't. It says attack and HP growth 20 to 30%. But for intensive purposes, I think that there is a bigger jump between 10 and 11. I can't confirm that because I didn't actually do a jump before this video, and now I think about it, I should have. But still, it's a 10% increase. Keep that in mind as we go through this, okay? So first thing you need to do is figure out which warriors you're going to take from 11 to 12. I did that. It should be your main team, or it should be the 5 members of your boot camp that you're using to boost the level of all your other tunes. Now that we've gotten that out of the way, I chose my Pirate, Swift Tracer, let's go to all, Miriam, Claudette, and Gemstone Maiden. Tactical decision there. If you know anything about leveling up, generally when you first start the game, you choose several different attributes so that you can infuse warriors a little bit higher, a little bit quicker. All right. Here's the other screen I want to start off with, okay? This is my account before any of the transition. I just want to call out a few things. My power was 3.4 million. My gems, 396,000, whatever. 1.1 G gold. If you don't know what that is, that's 1.1 billion gold, guys. I had almost 1.2 billion before I started. It's going to be important to keep in mind as we go through this. Nothing else really on this particular screen is important. So we're going to take a look at the boot camp. This is what your boot camp should look like before you upgrade. If you haven't read the tooltip in the boot camp, or if you did read the tooltip in the boot camp up here, it'll tell you that your boot camp actually can be upgraded to level 2. That is part of the process here. We'll talk more on that later, but this is what the boot camp looks like technically. You got the river fountain here just splooging all over you. You got your 5 main warriors that you're using to boost the level of all your other tunes and your 5th strongest warrior. Okay, you should already kind of understand that by now, but that is what your boot camp should look like currently. Now moving on is where we start getting into the meat of the process. I started by upgrading my Spicy Pirate, but I want to call out a few things before we move on. Is the level here 280, she's at 11 stars getting ready for the transition. The base HP is 1.2 million. My basic attack is 124,000 plus. Okay? Then we do the transition. We go into the transition screen. Prior to the transition screen, I want to call out the first point here. Remember, we took a look at 9-star and 10 stars base, the attack HP growth spurt from going from star to star. Here's what it tells you you're going to get from going 1 to 12. 20 to 30. Look familiar? 20 to 30 still doesn't make sense. It looks like it's only a 10% increase, and that would be accurate, technically. You'll see that in a second. So 10%, guys, is what you're going to get just for starring up. Remember, we just took a look at starring up a 9-star. You get the same, 10%. So right away, you're starting to see what happens when you upgrade from star to star. Do you see the same thing I'm looking at? It's no different. There's no difference. You're getting a 10% growth. Maybe a 20% boost, depending on how these numbers look. But for all intents and purposes, 10, 10. That was when my excitement at getting ready to do this process turned to a little bit of just of a bummer. Okay? So right away, 10%. All right, so let's move on. I did the process. I clicked upgrade, and boom, voila, my new stats. Now let's go take a look at the old stats. 1.2 million health, 124,000 attack. Clicked yes, clicked OK, and here I am. 1.2 million HP and 126,000 attack. Now, that was an upgrade of 1,813 attack. Again, we only got a small percentage, a 10% boost from the rank up system. No other stats change when you rank up. You should be familiar that you don't get defense and speed when you do that. That's limited to level. So right away, I got an 1,800, a little over 1,800 attack plus boost. Keep in mind, we paid for premium currency, these revelation stones, and you need 10 of them. I spent $20 for 10, $20 per 10. So I spent about $100 to obtain all 50 of these stones. It cost 30,000 grow stones to do the transfer as well as upgrade material to get an 1800% attack. I'm not saying that that's not nothing. That's nothing to scoff at because of the way damage scales in this game. That's a lot. But technically, we just saw that that's not much different than going from a 9 to a 10 and a 10 to 11. And in all honesty, it's really not. Now, keep in mind there's a little bit of numbers there when you consider what I was saying about the base attack. It's at maximum level. So if you are at maximum level, there is some discrepancies there as it goes up in terms of the attack and health. But you get the point. You're starting to see that you get 1800 attack and a very little HP growth in terms of overall. I'm not really sure how to feel about that. I'm still conflicted. But let's move on. So the next step from starring up is to boost your level. Well, the new minimum ceiling, I'm sorry, is 310 that you can boost to initially. It starts off as a maximum, but changes as you get your 5th warrior. So I did the upgrade from 310. Here's what it cost. 65.2 million XP to go from 280 to 310 directly, and 53.6 million gold, which is why I was flexing that 1.1 billion on you, to go to 310 directly. Now, I did this 5 times. Okay? I had the materials. Materials disappear quickly. Okay. Here's what I got for going from 280 to 310. 190 defense, 3,350 attack, and 17,496 HP, but it also boosted my speed. Keep in mind, leveling boosts all your base attributes, and that's really where you notice things like defense, speed, and attack boosts, because a lot of your warriors, let's go over here and just take a look real quick, on their A2 have increases to attack, HP, speed, and various other things. So, stick with me, guys. We're almost done here. 1,813. We're going to add the 3,350. We got a 163 boost for what we've done. We spent $20. We spent a lot of XP and a lot of growth stones to get a 5,100% boost. Speed, I love the fact that the speed jumped because it really does give you an advantage in PvP. And there you have it. That is your initial 11 to 12 star upgrade boost. Now, 5,000 isn't something to scoff at. But, again, consider what I'm saying. Going from 11 to 12 and 10 to 11 isn't really that much different. You're getting a lot of the same benefit. The difference is you're not getting the 11 to 12 star upgrade stats that other people are doing. Now, is that game breaking? That's the question. Is it worth the $20 that I paid for the 10 growth stones for the 1 warrior? Is it worth the $100 that I paid for all 5 warriors? Well, you have to do the math yourself, and you have to kind of consider if that gives you a competitive advantage over someone else. Now, 5,000 attack on average, it's going to vary based on the attack increase stats that you get for each type of warrior and whether or not they are attack, tank, support, stuff like that. All in all, it does give you an advantage over other people. That's the bottom line. I'm not going to say that it doesn't. However, when you consider a 9 to 10 and a 10 to 11, there is an advantage, but just because you upgrade to 11 star doesn't mean you're going to beat a 10 star team. That depends on a number of different factors. Gear, artifact gear in particular, jewels, and rune skills. You can still be beat. So the question is can you be beat as a 12 star warrior? Of course you can. Initially. But is that all that upgrading to 12 star does for you? No. What else does it do for you? Well, let's take a look here. Let's go back up here. I want to show you the boot camp. Remember we talked about level 2. This is what your boot camp looks like. This is your brain not on drugs. let's take a look at what your brain looks like on drugs. Here's what your boot camp looks like after the update. Okay, your 5-star warriors disappear. You get this really cool hue, which I don't think was worth $100, but anyways, and you get a new UI. When your boot camp upgrades, basically once you've gotten all 5 warriors, you can see all 5 of them here. Your boot camp transforms to level 2, and your investment changes as well. You notice you got a new UI down here at the bottom. The leveling up process is moved for these warriors, and all warriors put into your boot camp is moved to leveling up your boot camp instead of individual warriors. This is where things got a little interesting as well for me, and I also got kind of a frowny face. But what it does is it opens up a new leveling system that you otherwise wouldn't have access to. If you notice, my level is actually 321. Initially, when you get all 5 warriors to 310, your boot camp updates, and all the warriors in your boot camp follow the same rules. They all upgrade to 310. But the leveling process changes. They actually give you access to additional levels up to a maximum of, I believe, 500. Yes. Starting with the 5 warriors that you just upgraded. So every one of the 5 warriors, once they reach 310, are going to add 5 more levels initially that you can get, bringing the total level to 335. And every 12-star warrior you get after that adds another 5 levels, thus increasing, again, going back to what leveling does for you, it increases all of your base attribute stats. So it's a long-term investment though. And the reason I say that is because the leveling up process becomes infinitely more difficult. Now these numbers are going to vary because I'm at 321, but I'm going to actually show you the leveling up process real quick. It's not what you think it is. It requires a lot more materials. So if you think that you're balling out, you got a bunch of XP and grow stones in your inventory, upgrade to 12-star. This is where I got a little upset again because the leveling up process becomes more difficult. So if you see leveling up costs 1,900 grow stones, 14.8 million gold, 7.6 million XP. Watch what happens when I hit the button once. Nothing happened. My level didn't go up. I filled up a quadrant. There's 5 quadrant, guys. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm not going to hit the 5th one yet, but I've already spent 7.6 million XP times 4, 14 million gold times 4, and 1,900 growth stones times 4. I'm going to go ahead and click it the 5th time, and boom, I got 1 level. For like 32 mil, like 50, I don't know, it's like 50 million gold, 60 million gold, 30 million XP. It opens up another leveling system that will prove beneficial to people who breach that paywall and continue to, upgrade this level. It does give you a significant advantage, but it's going to come at a cost. It's still going to slow down people because of the extreme cost just to get 1 level. And there you have it. And every level, every 12-star warrior that you add, not including duplicate, can't be a duplicate, will add 5 more levels to a maximum of 500. Somebody at 500 is going to be baller. You know that they're generally have played the game a long time or have paid. So there you have it. That's it in a nutshell, guys. Transferring from 11 to 12. 1 warrior, it's going to give you more damage, yeah. 2 warriors, it's going to give you more damage in HP. Whether or not it was worth it, that is the question. I paid $100 for my grow stones. We'll just recap. If you want to leave now in the video, you can. If that's all you wanted to see, basically it opens up another grind. I think the game assumes that people who breach that 12-star wall want to invest a lot more money, so they're going to have grow stones, XP, and gold, and all that other stuff. It's going to take a while for me to get to my new level of 335, and I don't know if I'm going to do another 12-star warrior if I have to pay that kind of money for it. So they're going to have to make these revelation stones a little more accessible. Now, if you want to leave the video now, that's fine. You've seen the meat of what it does for you. Only you can decide if spending money to open up a new grind is worth it, whether or not you think it gives you a tactical advantage or not. All it is an increase in base attribute stats. and they can significantly add up, yes. But now it's going to come to the setup here. I did all 5 warriors at one time. I had a ton of materials. This took a ton of prep work. Not only did I spend weeks buying in increments of 10 these revelation stones, you need 50. It's 10 per warrior, you need 5 warriors. The growth stones are 30,000 per warrior. You need a 6-star copy of the warrior you're going to upgrade and a 10-star warrior to sacrifice. Okay? Anybody who's gone through a lot of ranking up process, not leveling up, it's ranking up, knows that it's not easy to get a 10-star warrior, let alone 5 of them at one time. But if you know anything about my inventory, it's vast. I have materials. I was able to do it. Give you an idea of what I went through. You already seen that. I went from 1.2 billion gold down to 400 and some odd million. These growth stones, just the prep work and the leveling up of the warriors, getting them in place. 5 10-star warriors is 10 9-star warriors. This is not something that even an intermediate player should do if they're working on building 1 and 2 teams. You need to stay in your lane and build your first and second and third teams up, or at least your first team, your boot camp team. You need at least 3 warriors to do your sanctum, because that's one of the single most important things you can do. And it's going to go wonky on me there. But it's not technically worth it, and now my internet, that's what I was afraid of. But anyways, I went through a lot of XP getting this done, guys. It was not easy. I'm going to switch here because for some reason I'm up the hills block the internet up here. It was not easy, and I don't think that new players are going to be able to do this for a long time, let alone some advanced players. But I wanted to get it out there and show you that I honestly don't think that just going to the new level cap of 310 is worth the kind of money that they are charging, even at the $100 that I paid for it. You're going to have to decide for you if the upgrade process, that boost across all 5 tunes, but also the grind of leveling up just one level, costing millions of gold and millions of XP, is going to be something that's going to draw you into the game to do every day. There you have it, guys. I'm going to leave it at that. I've talked enough. Let me know what you think in the comment section. Are you going to upgrade 1, 2, 3, all 5 warriors to this new level cap? Are you going to do it now? Or are you going to wait and see if the stones, become cheaper or maybe even free? What do you think of the material cost of upgrading? Is it something that you can do? Is the grind going to keep you coming back? Only you can answer that, guys. See you in the next one.